Welcome to another Wellness Wednesday. I am Dr. Andrea Shanowski from Health and Horsepower. And this month, in our office here at Freedom Chiropractic and Holistic Health, I wanted to focus on basically my love for helping people to not only get out of pain, but really take charge of their health again. So this month, I'm offering a free one-on-one consultation with me so that we can actually go over what is going on with your health and what I can do to help you. Now, today's video, I'm really excited. Obviously, it is February 1st, but I want to talk this month about how to not only love yourself more, but also how to become a healthier version of you. So today, I want to talk a little bit more about heart health. It's February. It's all about love and hearts. So I want to talk a little bit more about heart health. So I have 2 tips for you today. So the first thing is recognizing the sign of heart attacks and heart disease. And number 2, how to change your diet when you do have risk factors. So heart disease is one of the top 3 leading causes of death in the United States. And frequently the absolute first sign that people have an issue with heart disease is a heart attack. So I want to talk a little bit more about what a heart attack is. So a heart attack is called a myocardial infarction. It is basically when part of your heart muscle does not get enough blood flow and thus enough oxygen. When that happens, that heart muscle can start to die. And the longer it takes for you to get that treated and get that blood flow restored, the more damage to the heart there is. So let's talk a little bit more about heart attacks, because I think a lot of people don't realize that your first sign that you have a heart problem is a heart attack. It used to be that heart attack survival rates were around 50%. The quicker you get into a doctor and get that taken care of, some of those survival rates have actually jumped up to about 90%. So really, really, really easy to deal with if you know the signs and can get help quickly. So one of the most common things that people know about is chest pain or discomfort. You can have that right in the center of the chest or off to the left side, which is where your heart is at. We can also get weakness or lightheadedness, or we can even feel faintness or breaking out in a cold sweat. Those also are same symptoms as low blood sugar. So keep that in mind that some of these can overlap a little bit. If we have any pain or discomfort in the jaw, the neck, the back, the shoulder area, or the arms, those are also signs that you may be having a heart attack in the midst. And also if you have any shortness of breath. Now, keep in mind, we can also have that shortness of breath before or after discomfort happens, so it doesn't always matter if they're going on at the same time. One big thing to realize is that women sometimes have very different symptoms or none at all. So for some women, they may have no symptoms at all if they're having a heart attack. But a lot of times they will have those similar symptoms in addition to, or instead of, they can also have issues with nausea and vomiting. They may have sweating going on. They may have lightheadedness or dizziness going on. Unusual fatigue and also heartburn or indigestion are also signs for women that may be suffering from a heart attack. So really important to understand what the signs are so you can get help as quickly as possible to minimize your risk or issues for complications. The other thing that I talked about is what you're eating can affect your heart health. So really important to understand that when it comes to healthy blood pressure, we want to minimize and kind of understand how sodium works with blood pressure. We want to talk about foods that we need to add in and focus on, and foods that we want to eliminate or reduce or avoid altogether. So when it comes to sodium, high sodium levels can increase blood pressure. However, when the research looks at how salt affects your sodium levels and affects your blood pressure, they only looked at iodized table salt, not some of the other ones. So I do have to interject here a little bit. Pink Himalayan salt is actually, it is not only rich in some of your trace minerals, it actually has a lower sodium content, and it's preventative to basically preventing low blood pressure. Now, Celtic sea salt, which is that gray colored salt, that one also has some trace minerals in it, but that's actually preventative for high blood pressure. So if you do have high blood pressure, it might be a good idea to switch to a Celtic sea salt. If you have low blood pressure, pink Himalayan salt might be helpful for you. Just keep in mind too that when we look at some of those healthy properties of salts specifically, some of those trace minerals help to prevent dehydration. They help to reduce and prevent blood pressure issues. They support muscle contraction and relaxation, because you need calcium to contract your muscles, magnesium to relax them. So a lot of times if you're having muscle cramps, that may be because you have a magnesium level that is not in proper range, or calcium level that's not in proper range. So those are really important. In addition, some of those trace minerals also actually support your respiratory system and help to clear out mucus and congestion. And they can also prevent kidney stones and also boost your immune system. So salt is not the enemy here. We just need to understand a little bit more about sodium. Typically, if your doctor wants you on a low sodium diet, you recommend to keep your sodium level under about 2,300 milligrams per day, just so you're not overdoing it. But keep in mind, pink Himalayan salt, Celtic sea salt might be healthier options for you. Pink Himalayan salt, like I mentioned, is a pink colored salt that has about 80 trace minerals. It has calcium, magnesium, as well as potassium, and has a lower amount of sodium in it than table salt. Whereas if we look at the Celtic sea salt, that one has about 33 different trace minerals in there. And that, again, is going to also help prevent the blood pressure issue that we're having. So just make sure you understand where your blood pressure is at. If you have low blood pressure, pink would be a better option. If you have high blood pressure, that gray Celtic sea salt might be a better option. Now, when it comes to food to add in, we want to focus on foods that have some of those minerals in them. So potassium, magnesium, as well as fiber content. So when it comes to those minerals, those are going to help to relax the muscles that help regulate blood pressure and also improve digestion, so you're absorbing more good nutrition from your food. So some of the best foods to add in are fruits like apples, apricots, dates, bananas. And then when it comes to vegetables, any of your cruciferous vegetables, so like broccoli, kale, spinach, any green beans, any carrots, any green leafy vegetables, those are all beneficial. And what's really important is understanding that healthy fats, so some of your healthy fats like omega-3s that are found in fish, flax, as well as even beans for fiber, those fiber are also going to help to minimize how much of the processing we're getting from our food and also help to move things through our digestive system a little bit quicker. So omega-3 is supportive, as well as the minerals I talked about. When it comes to foods to avoid or eliminate, I'm going to say this and I will kind of give you a couple cautionaries here. So we want to reduce and eliminate as much as possible. That doesn't mean you can't ever eat it at all, but we want to be careful. Any foods that are highly processed, so foods that have high levels of fat, high levels of sugar, high levels of sodium, we want to try to avoid or eliminate those. We also want to be careful with any fried foods, which are kind of in that same category. And then we want to be careful also with our alcohol level, because when you do high levels of alcohol, that's going to stress not only your liver, but your kidneys, and that can affect your blood pressure. So just make sure you're keeping those alcohol levels to a moderate or minimum amount. And tune in next week. I'm really excited. My chef assistant, Chef Corey, is going to be with me. We have a really exciting gluten-free recipe that we're going to be doing. It is an apple tartlet. So literally, they're like little tiny muffins, and they have apples on top that make it look like a rose or a flower. And they're gluten-free, and there's apricots in it. So it is heart healthy. It's great for people that have gluten sensitivities, and it's got some fruit in there, and they're adorable for Valentine's Day. So make sure you tune in next week for that. And we'll see you next week on Health and Horsepower.